guys, it's Brittany. So, happy Halloween again. And so today I'll be telling you a dream that I have. Yes, it'll be a dream video. So, and because it's Halloween, I would say that this dream I'm going to tell you, it's a bit dark and kind of scary. Now, it's not gonna be anything too scary because I've actually had some nightmares about spiders, so I'm not gonna mention any of that because to me that's just really scary. But this one I'll be telling you about is the very first time that I had this dream about Batman Forever. But the thing is, there was one part in particular that was a bit dark. Okay, so you know how in the scene where when Batman goes to the Riddler's Lair, but he's holding Dr. Chase and Robin hostage, in those tubes. Well, that scene took a dark turn. And what happened was, okay, so in this scene, it didn't show a whole lot. So this one was actually kind of short. So what happened was, I remember I was like sitting down on my bed. I'm just relaxing, watching Batman Forever, and that scene comes up. But in that scene, because you know how in the scene, in Batman Forever, how the lights are like, you know how everything around is green and the whites are, no, and the lights are white. I'm sorry. I mixed up my words. So now that's what we see in the movie, but in the dream it showed how when Batman is in the Riddler's lair while Dr. Chase and Robin are held hostage and in those tubes. But what happened was, okay, it's the part where after they had been revealed, like when the curtains came off, and it shows how each one is in the tube, they're tied up, and so now in that scene it shows that, and when Riddler is telling Batman how he would have to choose one to save one of them. Okay, trying to think of the line. There's this line that he says, but in this scene, in the dream, he says how they will fall to their watery grave, but the way he said in the dream, it sounded scary. And the thing is, even inside the Riddler's lair, it wasn't green with white lights. Like the whole room was red. And I think the lights were like a light tinted red. So everything just looked red in the room. And you know how you hear the music score during that scene as well? Well, even in the dream, like somehow the music sounded a bit more deep, like it got really dark, and it actually sounded scary. And so I remember when I was watching this, somehow this dark version of this scene of Batman Forever, I remember I was actually scared, and I remember thinking, okay, what's going on? Like this never happened. So I thought maybe someone did something to that scene to make it a little bit more dark. So yeah, I did not quite like that. I was not comfortable with it, and I thought, okay, can it go back to the way it was? And so at some point I didn't get to see what else would happen like if something would have turned out different within that scene because it was a little bit more dark than than how we see it. Um, I wasn't sure. And so yeah, so when I woke up, I actually woke up like confused, and I woke up feeling like, uh, okay, that that was scary. Like that was dark. And so I did not quite like that, like I said. And of course, but knowing that I've seen the movie many times, because I've watched it so many times that I know it by heart because I just love it. But knowing that when I do see that scene of the movie, it doesn't change at all. And of course, it would not change because it's not like if you watch something and it turns out different, but then if you go back, then it somehow it's back to the same. Now I know that would be really strange if something like that happened, but no. And so yeah, I don't know why I had that dream, but that's how it ended. It ended with me just feeling like kind of freaked out because it was so different than how it originally is. And I was just like, oh no, like, what happened? This got dark. Like, and like I said, with that scene, like, the room was red, the lights weren't white, but they were like a tinted red, and the music sounded a bit more deep and dark. And the way Jim Carrey was talking in the dream, he didn't even sound like himself. He sounded kind of creepy, and even he sounded a little deep, but in a scary way. So yeah, I was just like, okay, what's going on here? And that's how it ended. It ended with this confusion of what happened. Like, this scene actually got dark. And it got dark because it was during the part where he was saying about Dr. Chase and Robin, how Batman had to choose one to save. He had to pick one of them to save them, and yeah, he said that line about their watery grave. And that is the part where he I think presses the button on his cane, and then it shows like this hole that's underneath them where there's water, there's I think metal, I think what was it, like long sharp metal things coming up where if they had fallen they would instantly fall to their death. But I think that just got dark for some reason. So yeah, that was something. So yeah, I did not quite like that. And to be honest, I actually do like the way that the whole movie itself turned out, because I've actually read that Joel Schumacher, he wanted Batman Forever to be, I think, a bit more darker than Batman Returns, but Warner Brothers, they did not want that. They didn't want another really dark or much darker Batman film. They wanted something where it's a bit more light, something everyone can enjoy, including kids. So, that's what Joel Schumacher did. He did not go with what he wanted to do of a much darker version of Batman Forever, but he took on a different take of it, where it's a bit more light and bright, and where it's a bit more fun, and I don't know, I just loved it. I really truly love the way it turned out, because if it hadn't turned out that way, I don't think there would be a favorite Batman movie that I would have. Because let's say if it had turned out much darker than Batman Returns, then yeah, I don't think it would have been my favorite. But because it turned out so different and so opposite from Batman Returns, and turned out differently than the ones that even we saw, like of Christopher Nolan's Batman, since it was so different from The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. And because it turned out, like I said, having this light tone to it, it's bright and it's fun, and it just has this very unique tone to it, which I love. Then yeah, because it turned out so different than any other Batman movies, that's why that one in particular is my favorite, because it's something anyone can enjoy, and where it has this fun, bright and comic book feel to it. And that's what I love about it, because when you watch it, you feel like you're watching this Batman comic book come to life, with the style, the atmosphere and everything about it is just great. So I actually love Joel Schumacher's take on how he directed Batman Forever, and I just love everything about it. I could go on and on about it, but yeah. Now of course I am planning to do like a movie review and other videos on Batman Forever, but sadly to say that won't be anytime soon, because I'm gonna do it on its anniversary, because since it came out in 95, then I'm gonna do it on its special anniversary within 2025. So may have to wait a little long to do that, but that's okay. But yeah, but yeah, I did have other dreams about the movie, but this one somehow just went a bit more dark, and because of that I thought this would be good to tell you this dream, because it's like, okay, no, like, and the thing is, I'm just glad it did not went there, like showing like red lights, and where it probably would feel very much dark, like having this really dark tone to it of like these different colors, like whether if they had and I think with a lot of red, yeah, it would have been like, okay, this is uneasy. But other than that, yeah, that's the dream, and just saying how I'm glad it didn't went that far, and I'm just glad that it turned out the way it did, because I love it and I'll never get tired of it, because it's my only favorite Batman movie that I have. Because I mean, even though there's some ones that I like and some that probably I don't like as much, but I feel like with this one in particular really stands out to me the most. So yeah, and like I said, I can't help it. I just love it. So anyway, now of course I might mention it again in another video, but I don't know when that would be. But yeah, like I said, when I do the review and other videos that I'll do on Batman Forever, it'll be in 2025 on its anniversary. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you think of the dream. Because yeah, I thought it was actually quite dark, which I did not feel comfortable with at all, because in the dream I felt uneasy with it. And of course when I woke up I was just like, okay, what just happened? So no. And because of that, I'm like, you know what? I'm just so glad it did not turn out that way. So yeah, because I just feel really happy with the way it originally turned out. And yeah, and I would say I just really appreciate everything about it, especially all the hard work that went into it. And yeah, and that's why there's just everything that I love about the movie, and nothing can change my mind about that. Nothing. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.